Hello, hello, hello. Can y'all hear me?
Hey,
What's up? What's up? My bad. Little computer difficulty. Little computer difficulty.
hey
Fine.
y'all.
Hey, what's going on? How y'all doing?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Man, I can't complain, man. Just school. It's life. Life be life. All right, let's go. My bad.
I see y'all in y'all blue.
Hello, hello, hello. Yes, it's time for the full 180. I do apologize for the delay. Man, when I tell you technical difficulties, forgive me sometimes. Like from a school teacher, right? Good to see y'all. I hope you back ready to join us on another edition of the Full 180. I'm your sure they call me DJ TRWKY. I'm just one part of the members of the cast that makes this happen, man. Now, other than I got my people with me. Anywhere I go, I'm like, wait I got my people with me. We got she got the paper. She official. 17 is the done deal. She is a graduate with her master's and about to get this principal degree. It's not other than our own licensed dictionary. PC, assistant PK, not other than Miss. Put some respect on her name. I'm gonna say it, Principal Beverly.
Hey y'all. You
What's
cutting
up?
you cutting in and out.
Yeah, I know. Thank you very much. You good
What? I
always.
didn't know if you knew that you was cutting in and out.
Yeah, okay. You just gonna say thank y'all. Hey, how y'all doing? You gotta do
Well,
something
because
else.
we can't hear I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
No.
Uh, but you responded back to, but you can't hear me. The games we play. Other than that, we got our own piece of jewelry. You can't buy this in the store. It's our own fine piece of jewelry. It's been away for a minute. We went out of town, went and kicked it for a little bit. But
Yeah.
she is definitely, man, this is our own piece. We call her Jules, the God Jules. What's going on, Miss Lady?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? Hey.
And he's never last and never least, man. This brother here, when I tell you, he are tied in so many ways, but this is my brother from another mother that we both claim. You don't know him yet, but you're going to get to know him. This brother is Black History born. He's already made Black History, but he's also a poet. And I promise you, he didn't even know it. This is my boy, none other than Mr. D. Lewis himself. What up, big bro?
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing?
It's still six, I see.
Can y'all hear
It's
me?
still six. Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
Yes, sir.
great. I can
hear
hear me.
you.
It's still sexy over there, I see. You still saying? But man, it's very good to see y'all. Look, I'm gonna run through this so we can go ahead and get to where we need to get to. Like I said, I apologize earlier for the difficulty, but I got it fixed. Look, man, if this is your first time on the show, please do us a favor. Scan the barcode, it'll take you directly to the show. You can also actually log on, subscribe, and become a member so you'll get all the notifications about what's going on, when it's coming on. Well, before not last, definitely not least, I want to go ahead and get into this now because little Webby is the one to talk about it. Today we have on blue. Why are we representing blue? Little Webby.
We are representing blue because April is Autism Awareness Month, and today, April 2nd, is World Autism Awareness Day or Acceptance Day, whichever one it is. So if you know someone who has autism, please be kind, accept them, know that they see the world differently. They probably see it better than the rest of us, but that's neither here nor there. So I appreciate the team for supporting the cause. I got my autism shirt on with the puzzle pieces. It says accept, understand, and love. So the puzzle pieces represents putting it, we're all connected with one another. So again, I appreciate you all for bringing awareness, and we standing in solidarity for Autism Awareness Month.
Well, thank you for allowing us to be a part of something that you definitely believe in. We're glad to support, or should I say, I'm definitely glad to support it. Anything with these kiddos, it's always a blessing. So yeah. So let me go ahead. Who's gonna say something? Oh, D.
Really?
D.
Are
There
you
go D.
okay, parent? It's okay to not be okay. I understand.
Oh, real talk. I didn't see that. I just seen the chat. You good, bro?
Yeah, I'm straight. I mean, it's not
Okay.
easy, of course, but um, although I guess it was considered a lower spectrum, I mean, it's still like whoa, like so.
Well, look, I'm gonna say it for everybody. We ain't claiming it. It's just something. It's something minute, a little obstacle, little definitely gonna have to go over. And once he get over it, man,
Yeah.
look, I can't see nothing but the sun shining. I'll tell him I'm waiting to be
Oh yeah.
retired. Yeah, whatever he do, we good.
Yeah.
So we definitely with you, brother. Anyway we can be. So don't think you're doing it by yourself.
Sure.
So, in case you didn't know, I do a little thing that we call R&B Bingo. It's happening live in Bois Louis every Thursday. I mean, something simple. Basically, we do the 90s and the 2000s. So, we basically, if you ever played the preschool game bingo, bingo, it's the same thing. If you take a grandmother that go play bingo, then you know what I'm talking about. So basically, is what we do it with music. So what we do, let's say we play a Waco favorite artist, high five. If the group is on your card or the artist is on your card, and I play she's playing hard to get, then that's a song by that artist. So then you dab that card, you dab that particular artist until you get 5 in a row, including, if you do want to use a free space, you can use that too. Diagonally, not crisscross, diagonally, horizontally, vertically, however you get it, that's how you win. It's simple game of bingo. It's a continuous play of music. We don't necessarily stop it. So we do it live every Thursday night at Bar Louis in Arlington. We call it pregame Thursday, getting you ready for your weekend. So if you don't have anything to do, please join me. Come out, come kick it, say what's up. Hey, it is what it is. Ladies, I have a question before we get to the show. I heard this and I was like, hey, this kind of makes sense.
Why do we be lying? Because a lot of women like a good story more than they like the truth. Ouch. I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm saying that what I've observed is a lot of women have a story written already about how relationships should go, how long it should take, and they've created this novel in their mind that only requires a character to be dropped into it. And so if a man can actually portray that character well enough, you'll look at it like, oh, this is just the role I've been trying to fill. And you gonna cast him. Like, you're not gonna really check his credentials out. You're not gonna see if he done been anywhere else, if he brings anything. You already wrote the book. So all a man really be having to do is show up, lie well enough at the interview, get the job, good. And unfortunately, a lot of times, because you have this script written, what should be a probationary period, you giving him on the job training on how to survive just a little bit longer. You telling him everything, you coaxing him through everything, you hand and foot him through everything, and it's like once it all fades away, once you try to promote him, and you realize he never actually had the skill to do the level job, now you looking confused. Like it was low key you, shorty. Low key.
Ladies, what you think? Talk to me. Is this a significant reason why it's lie to you? Huh?
Oh, I was like, I agree with that. Like I think, especially when you early in like a dating season or something, I feel like early on when I was dating, I would do like tell a guy everything I wanted and tell him what I liked and all this other stuff just out the gate. Because I already had a preconceived vision of who I wanted and what I wanted and what I was looking for. And then the guy would come in and just pretend to be that. And it would be cool until, the mask come off and you're like, oh, he really don't like to do this. And he really not what I thought he was. But it's because I was only looking at what I wanted to see in the relationship. You know what I mean? And now when I date, it's like, I ain't telling nobody nothing. I'm just being me and we have a good time and whatever. And I'm looking for his actions, looking for him to do what he's supposed to, what I'm looking for. I'm looking for him to be that already. You know what I'm saying? Not for me to tell him what I want and tell him what I need and
a relationship, I'm looking to see if he is already that person.
Okay. Wait, what you think?
I can agree to some extent. I definitely think that as women, sometimes we get diarrhea of the mouth and just start talking instead of just letting the relationship be organic on its own. And I'm not saying you shouldn't, have standards, expectations, or share those things with people, but you need to start vetting these people before we just get to talking. Because some people play the long game and they'll marry you and do all these things.
Do you think as men we go through that? What up, nephew? You think we go through that, bro?
When you say go through that, what do you mean specifically?
So do you think women lie? Women, do women lie to us because we like to hear the long story?
Before you,
Maybe I think women lie. I think we all lie.
Ooh, don't say that. That's the L
The
word.
motive behind the lie is it varies. Some people may lie to get what they want, out of you. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we live in a culture where it's hard for men because women are coming to the table not even talking about the type of man they want, but more or less the type of car or the type of date they want. And if you can't provide something on a higher caliber than Cheesecake Factory, then we can't go out. If you can't give me a birthday bag, we can't go out. So everybody's come, and then it's hard for women because the way men are showing up, if I hear this word one more time, it's gonna drive me nuts. But the word is that men are showing up. They're showing up real zesty and real sassy, and so it's this demasculated kind of experience, to say the least. But I would say that everybody got their KPIs in the business sense, right? Every person got their key performance indicator that either indicate if that person's the one for them or if that person is not the one for them, right? Everybody has their own right to key performance indicators, but you got to understand, you got to accept what comes with it. So, yeah, that's it. And then last thing I would say is, if you're showing your hand so fast, it's like, I don't know, I grew up in the hood, we played a lot of dominoes and we played a lot of spades and cards, right? And the worst thing you can do with a seasoned domino player or a seasoned spades player is let them see what you got in your hand.
Show your hand.
You show your hand too fast, you don't know what you're dealing with in that other person. And
that's so true.
That person, and the key to the game is, just because somebody show you their hand doesn't mean that you got to let them know you saw it.
We done talking. The conversation.
Look, that's it right there. Well, thank y'all for coming. Good night. No, I'm playing. But I mean, look, I like to say that, hey, as the seasoned people, you say you never let your right hand know what your left hand doing. If you still out there playing the games, here you go. That's the Bible. I hear you, boy. I hear you, boy.
That means don't put your card on your forehead. That means don't do that.
I'm gonna do that once I done checkmate you. Yeah, I'm putting the card on my head. It's over. I'm gonna need you to rise up.
Yeah, the craziest thing is people have the card on their forehead and don't even think they're showing it. It's like it's like you act like I can't see this. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, what? But they're convinced and naive to the fact of what they're actually showing you. Yeah. And based off what you're showing me, you're teaching me what to expect. You know what I mean?
Come on, poet.
Huh? Come on, boy. Get out here preaching. I can't do nothing but a test, brother. I can't do nothing but a test. Well, look, since you're on that road, we're gonna keep with it. Let's go to the topic of the day. I do the quote of the day later, but I want to get into this. So today, I thought we would talk about somebody. Since you're saying that sounds like to me somebody who's being a sole proprietor in a relational partnership. Because when you say something about showing your card and showing your hand, and then you become delusional. If you got the ace of spade, and I see you got the ace of spade, but then when I say, hey, that's the ace of spade, and then you look at me and tell me, nah, that's not the ace of spade. Huh? It's on you. I see it. But better yet, look, I'll put it to you this way. I thought I would use this piece of a clip. And ladies, I really want you to listen. Anyway, everybody out there listening, I really want you to listen. Because I'm going to need you to explain something to me in just a second.
I might be the only female to ever admit this. I might. But having a perfect man will probably scare me. It probably will. And it's not the fact that I don't want a good man. It's not. I really do want a good man. I really wholeheartedly do. But the way life has happened and the way I had to learn to live life, I feel like my dominance and my alpha attitude as a female, I will mess it up. I mess it up. Because I've been on my own for so long. On my own. I mean, like, paying my own bills, taking care of myself, house bills, my car maintenance, everything I do for myself. 100% I do for myself. I ain't never had a man say, I pay your rent, or I pay your bills, or I have to do this for your car, make sure you're talking. Everything I do, I have done for myself. I've never had a man pay nothing. I don't even ask. I'm not a girl to ask a man, oh, you buy my wig, oh, you'll take about dinner. I'm not asking for shit. I'm not. I do everything myself. So having a man that come in and he's fulfilling these roles and he's taking care, like legitimately taking care of you financially and everything else, I wouldn't know. I'm a struggle. I'm a struggle trying to let that man take that role because it's something I'm used to doing. I'm used to take care of me. I'm not waiting for nobody. I'm not waiting for nobody to do nothing for me. If my car break down, baby, I will go on YouTube to figure out how to do it myself and get it done because I'm not waiting for nobody. But I want something done. I want something done. So I feel like I would struggle with letting the man just come in and have complete control and do his thing. Although it is something I want and I crave. I do. I want a man to help me just get rid of some of these burdens. I'm tired. I'm tired of being a strong, dominant female. I'm tired of it. I do want a man to come and take his respectful role in my life. I do. I do want to.
No. What I heard this, all I thought was, baby, one, you've been by yourself too long. You are definitely a sole proprietor. But in all that you said, you still said you want to. Now, I don't know how to take this, so I don't want to read into it. But when she says, I want somebody to come take these burdens off of me, burdens? You can take them to Jesus. That's not my role. So I'm trying to figure that part out. But I hear that, and I just hear. I'm just gonna say, many women I know, many women I know, always say they don't want to be in control, but they sound just like her. I always want to be in control. You don't want to lose control, but you don't want to be in control. So in other words, you don't want to come together and work as a business. You want to work in a business type of arena, but you want to be a sole proprietor. You want to do your own thing. You want to do what you want to do, but you still want this person to linger around you and take care of these burdens, as you call them. And she said many times, I do want a man in my life. I do want this. I do want this. But how do you want a partnership, but you still want to run your own business? I don't get it. Come on, Jules. I see you got your movie. It's ready.
Come on, Jules.
No. She said, oh, the freak went up. Yes,
Jules, you on mute, boo.
Talk to me, Jules.
I said, I think it's like 4 different parts to that whole little section. Like the first part of it is just she hyper independent, period. Like
I
she
like it.
is, when I say hyper independent, like a lot of us is out here that have been single for a long time or just single and just come from a life where they had hardship or whatever. We've had to take care of ourselves, and we don't depend on people because people let us down. And when you're hyper independent, it means that you could be surrounded by people that support you, love you, is there to help you, but you'll never ask for help. You'll never reach out to, no matter what you're going on. You could be struggling. You could be two shakes from your foreclosure. You're going to figure a way out of that hole by yourself, even though you're surrounded by a sea of people that love you. That's hyper independent. And I think that's where she is. And I think that when you're in that zone, you fear dealing with somebody who you feel like is perfect, which is not, there's no such thing as perfect, but you feel like he's the man that you want and that you need, but you are incapable of being the woman that he needs. Like he create drama because you can't let him lead, because you're so used to being in control that you don't know how to surrender that. And it's just a fear. I think that when you get with a man that is naturally leading that way, you don't have no choice. I mean, you naturally soften to it. I think it's just fear that takes over you when you just feel like do you ever feel like, I'm thinking of like the fear of like not being good enough for that person. They deserve all of this or whatever, and they so good to you, but you can't be comfortable because you don't know what that's like, and you don't know what that feels like, so you stay in a zone of discomfort, I guess that's the word or whatever. But you don't want to mess up the relationship because of you haven't dealt with your own trauma. And what you're going to do is bring that trauma into another relationship. So that's my perspective on it. I think I wrote that down as like, you have somebody that is there that can provide and protect, and you won't allow them the space. You're not sure you can allow that space, so you run from it. And it's just, we are taught not to I was taught, I won't say I was taught not to depend on a man. And that can create a lot of I don't need a man, I can do this, I got this, whatever, blah blah blah. And instead of allowing him to provide and protect and lead in the way that he should, you kind of stick your thumb in there sometimes and get in the way.
I can rock that. And I'll use me. I wasn't taught not to need a man. I was taught the complete opposite, to where it was almost, I viewed it as it being destitute. That you were so codependent on a man that you didn't know how to do for yourself, which also breeds hyper independence. So, or some level of independence there. So I, not to go too deep, but I saw my parent being very codependent on a man who continuously showed her what she did not want to see. And I'll just say that. So when I got good and grown, I was like, yeah, I'm not, that ain't it. Because this person is clearly showing you what it ain't. And I didn't have a lot of good representation either, which is not an excuse, because I end up forming my own opinions as I've gotten grown and lived my own life and been married too. But then fast forward, I have also not been married for the better part of 10 years. So I've learned to depend on me, rely on me. It was me, and me. So I have definitely struggled with that, even in my current relationship, of not trying to be too independent. So I feel like there's always this line of knowing that, because I want my dude to know that I can do it if need be, but still be soft enough that I can fall back. That's where the line follows. That's where the line blurs for me. I can't speak for her, but because she's not even willing to try. I at least try. It's a struggle some days, and it shouldn't be, but I'm not gonna sit here and lie and say that it's not. I've gotten better because I know that he's there, and I know that he's gonna do. He has never faulted me or anything like that. That's the me part. And it's not that I'm afraid that he's not going to. It's now it's become the habit. I've gotten so accustomed of taking care of me. So it sucks. And sometimes be like, dang, Alicia, you weren't supposed to do that. Like, yeah. And so I'm like, okay, all right, the next time I'm gonna do things differently. And when I started to recognize it and started to be like, okay, you can do this differently. You don't have to be out here trying to rob Peter to pay Paul, Peter, Jack, Jill, and go up the hill by yourself. You don't have to do that. But I'm not gonna sit here and say that it's never been a knee-jerk reaction either. Because like I said, I've been doing me for the better part of 10 years. And not doing me meaning everybody, just literally taking care of me and my kid. When you couldn't call nobody, when you couldn't call nobody to come pick her up, when there was nobody there. So what do? So it sucks because that's the only person that you got is you. So it's like,
I'm sorry.
What do you want people to do when they've been forced to rely on themselves?
And they don't look up for air after that. It's like, I got it. I've been through the worst of the worst. What else do I got to go through to make it? It's not that big of a deal. It's like, I'll figure it out.
But then it does become, like she said, that's why the tail end part I can definitely relate. It's tiring, it's exhausting, and you tired of making decisions every day. You making decisions at work all day. You coming home making decisions, and you just like, I'm decisioned out for the day.
Get somebody else have it.
Like, get somebody else to do it. Tag you in, my shift over.
That's somebody else have it.
Tag you in. But that also means that I need to be communicative and saying, hey, I want, this is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something she said in the video. When she said, I don't even ask, I was like, how do you know he won't?
Because you don't want the fear, the disappointment.
We don't even have to ask, if you see me struggling or you see me needing help, just jump in and do it. I think for me, it's easier. It says that you're paying attention and you're tuned in if you jump in when you see me struggling. You know me well enough to see me needing help. But I think that because we are so independent, it's just hard to realize, oh, we need help. Oh, we need to come up for water, or oh, we need air. We just go and do. And we don't even think to ask until we're exhausted, until we're at our wits' end. And, now we stress and now we need help and we frustrated, but we done already did it.
And I will interject here, when you said people should know you well enough, for me, that ain't always true. I've had friends for 20 years. And if I'm really going through it, to some extent, they wouldn't know unless I open my mouth and said something. Like I said, I've gotten better with it now, but there was a time you wouldn't know. Because for independent people can mask very well.
That's true.
With the person, like my friends, like when I was really this is well before my current relationship, like really going through it some years ago. My friends didn't know unless I said something. And then we talk every day. Hey, girl, hi, Kiki, and do all this other stuff. Get off the phone with them and go cry and try to figure out how I'm going to pay bills or do this and do that.
And Drew, something that you said tonight, you are correct. If I see you struggling, yes, I'm going to reach out to help. Now, sometimes in certain instances, brothers reach out to help and then they get their head bit off. So now I'm reluctant to reach out to help or to figure out what's wrong with you because your frustration turns into a heated discussion sometimes. Because in your mind you think I should know. Like technically, like, okay, so let me ask you. Women have the process, and I think some men do too, of having that women's intuition, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So if women have this intuition, more women than men, if some women can understand or know or have intuition of their man cheating, how is it you never have the intuition of your man being unhappy? And vice versa to men. Why don't you have the intuition? Or we don't necessarily supposed to have it, some of us do. But how is it you don't have the notion? I'm gonna take intuition out. The notion or the gall or the thought process of, hey, she might be unhappy. But and then I'm saying it because if you don't express it, it's just like if I look at you and say, hey, Jewel, you good? Yeah, I'm good. And now I'm walking around thinking everything is everything, but you're really frustrated and hot with me. And so now I've been misled, and now there's confusion. But the whole time I asked you, and you told me something else.
So I think there's two answers to that. More than two, but my first response would be thinking like sometimes we're not honest. And sometimes we are like I was trained to fake it till you make it. Like even if you're struggling, show up. Wash your face, comb your hair, show up. Even if you like I'll get deeper later, but show up, right? And sometimes you feel like whatever you're going through is just what you got to go through to get to that next stage or to grow up. You know what I mean? It's just something you feel like it's just life. Life is lifing, as we say. And so you don't really feel like you should, there's not a thought to say I need help or that there's really something wrong. It's just I'm going through something and I just got to go through it and I got to learn and get what I got to get. The other part of that is sometimes we don't want to know because we can't handle it or we don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? If you tell me you stressed out or you frustrated and I don't got no solution for it, I kind of don't know. Sometimes I don't want to know because I don't know how to handle it. And I feel like I got to solve it for you. And I just don't know what to do with it.
I can believe you on that one because when I was working at the clinic that I was working at, and I would talk to my supervisor all the time, just in general about stuff. And she shared with me that this relationship that she was in, she struggled telling her partner what was really going on with her. It might not have anything to do with the relationship per se. And because she saw and witnessed that her partner couldn't handle certain things that she had been through. So she opted not to continue to share because she knew that her partner couldn't handle it. So what do you do with that?
You oh my gosh, I just feel like people some people have not been through things. So the slightest thing that goes crazy, they panic, or it becomes like a big argument or something. You're just like, okay, calm down. It's not that big of a deal. So you do definitely feel like I'm gonna limit what I say, or if it's something I can't talk outside of my head kind of thing. Like I can't really share too much because you don't know how to handle it yet. But at the same time, I should still expose it to you because you're gonna have to learn how to deal with me anyways.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
I think that's just something you learn through maturity, though, through going through relationships. And, when you really want to be with somebody and really want to love and learn them, you just have to, roll with the punches and not hide and not fake it, because faking it is way more energy than being honest. It takes so much out of you.
It does,
So,
and that weighs on you. Then you got stress and anxiety and all these. May's mental health month. I thought I'd put that plug in there for next month.
yeah.
Um, So yeah, and then your body shut down, y'all arguing, somebody withdrawn and distant, the other person is mad because you ain't talking, and it's all because of what's going on up here.
And it could be little. It could be so little as I'm afraid to, apply for this job and I'm so stressed out about it. Or it could be just minute things that could create a big riffle and a relationship over nothing. Or you feel like your partner doesn't respond as positively as you want them to do to your success or to something some challenge that you're doing, and you just don't want to share it because it's just like, I don't want to hear it. I just need positive energy. I don't want to hear no negative mess. I want to hear it. I'm struggling with staying on track, so you ain't even supporting me. So why I'm gonna even tell you? It's just it's so much little stuff that can create more, damaging situations later on because you're not communicating. And if I don't tell you I'm struggling, you don't know how to gauge when I am and when I'm not.
I think sometimes that narrative is built. Like the lady when she was talking, all I heard was that she built this narrative in her head because she doesn't even try. So I definitely that. But the narrative is already built in your head. It's kind of like my boy was talking about why do men lie? Because you rather have the story. You really don't. Do you really want the truth? We say we want the truth. We
But
say we want but then we say, like she said, I want to have a relationship. I want to be with somebody. Well, understand when you get to that point, like y'all are correct. Maybe I've never been through. Maybe I don't know. But if we really trying to build something, you're gonna have to talk to me. That's the only way we're gonna get through it. And I'm not saying you're not afraid. Some stuff you probably don't need to share. But if you choose to deem this person to be that person in your life, your person, we're gonna have to learn how to work through that together. It's gonna be some challenges. It's gonna be some obstacles. It's gonna be some pressure, but you got to learn to deal with it. That's if you're not willing to walk through. I'm gonna use this man's analogy. Now I'm gonna let D talk. He said when I was doing the wedding, he said at the point that he met his current wife, now that he was done. He wasn't messing with any females, and then he met her, and then she said to him, "Don't worry about it. I'm gonna grab your hand. I'm gonna walk through the fire with you." That's what I'm talking about. You show me, if you're gonna show me you're gonna be present and walk with me, cool. It's gonna be some times I'm not gonna like you, you ain't gonna like me. But if we keep the main thing that we're gonna take this walk together, then we can continue this partnership. But you can't be wanna build a bond and you wanna do something forever, but then you still wanna be able to do what you do. Go ahead, D.
Well, shout out to y'all. I think y'all having y'all pretty much flowing with it. But I think the woman's issue is not with a good man. The woman's issue is with relinquishing control. Um, Meaning where I think she would welcome a good man any day. Like, and I'm speaking to the woman that we heard the quote from.
Mm-hmm.
But what she has to confront, at least that fear of what she has to confront now, is deeply rooted in her, right? I think Jules said, "Yo, like I was taught, I was trained, I went to school for taking care of myself." You know what I mean? And but basically that upbringing, that training was rooted from something that is connected to the trainer. That the trainer felt like it was necessary to teach the trainee, um, hey, like you need to be self-sufficient. You need to be able to do, there's a reason to all of that, right? Um, so that I don't chase a rabbit trail here, what I'm hoping to like really convey is when good comes our way, like good can challenge us in a way to where we have to confront something that we deeply believe to be true, that may be connected to, that may not be as healthy for us, right? Because sometimes good brings light to unhealthy things, right? Or good can bring light to the things that we're unwilling to let go of, right? And it's not only challenging us at the heart, but it's challenging us at the root. And I don't know if you've ever tried to break a tree root, like a root from a tree, like a big tree. Like I'm talking about a root that has had the opportunity to mature. Like
Mm.
it's gonna take a little work, you know what I mean? And if anybody, like, if somebody can't hear Jules or hear Webby, or anybody, right, that has been like basically, developed in a way that warrants self sufficiency, self independence, or had experiences to where life has just taught you to be able to take care of yourself, right? You can't understand that, and understand that season and have patience there, then there's going to be struggle. You can't really be as good to that person because you could think you're a good man all day, you could think you're a good woman all day, but really good is a continuous thing that you have to taste and see over the course of a relationship. Can I show up and be good even when I disagree with something that this person um, carries? Can I show up and be good even when I disagree with how this person was developed? Can I show up and be good, like, and still love this person well, even in the midst of their process of trying to overcome a thing that could possibly be detrimental to our growth together, right? Or can I love them through it? Maybe that's the best way to say it. And that's the way I heard my elder say it. Like, yo, like there were some things that was easy to love about this person, but there were some things that I had to love them through, right?
Mhm.
And I just think that that's a vital trait here. But this woman, to me, I think her issue is not with necessarily having a good man more than it is actually taking the step to break the root of the control that she feels like she can't live without.
So, question, and everybody can answer that, because I think the same thing with some men too. What is it about the control aspect that we really fight with?
The
It's safe.
control.
Like, I mean,
It's safe. I
I
mean,
understand
it's
it's
safe.
being safe, but
That-
every relationship you in is a risk. So if you're in a current relationship right now, you're taking a risk. So
Absolutely.
why? So you have to learn to disseminate or dismantle this control thing. I don't want to control nobody. You're not a
I,
Nintendo.
I,
You're not a PlayStation. I don't want to control anybody. Now, my thing is, do I want to be heard? Yes. Does she want to be heard? Yes. Do I want us to come to an agreement in some type of way? Yes. That's to me, that's my thing. Like, I don't want to control you. I don't want to tell you where you can go, drop you off. I don't want to do all that. Like,
That's not
I got with you. I got with you because I thought,
yeah.
because when I give you my heart, that means that I'm trusting you with all of me in this moment. Now, have we all been
Right.
let down? Yes, I get that. But then we have to rebuild ourselves back up, and then you have to get back out there. It's always a risk. But this whole control thing, it's like if you're a person that has to be in control of everything, like even if your dude make a decision, you still go behind him and change the decision, and then you don't even have a conversation. It's just like, nah, that don't work.
Control
So
is the verb, though.
okay.
Control is the action. It's it's reactionary. It's like I take
Mm-hmm.
control because of this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or there's a why connected to the control, basically, right? All right, educators. You guys are educators for the most part. Jules, I don't know if you're a teacher or not. I don't know your profession, Jules. What do you do, Jules? You're
She the
muted, Jules.
You muted,
she the
boo.
she the HN. Oh, I'm sorry.
no, I'm an accounting manager.
Oh, come on, Jules.
She the HNC.
Jules got that money. But needs to say, no, really, no, really, like, all right, so we've all, at some capacity, we've had to have some sort of education, at least
Mhm.
educational experience, right? To
Mm-hmm.
where possibly we had to work in a group. I don't know about you guys, whether it was grad school or whether it was going for my bachelor's, undergrad, whether it was high school, middle school, elementary. There was a
Mm-hmm.
group
Every day.
project we all had. right? So we all in some capacity had to work in a group, right? And it's that we always had that either that one person that was lagging in the group or multiple people. So much so to where as a
Oh my
result,
God.
it makes you feel like the need or just safer because of what's on the line here, which is a grade, right? And if you had a mama like mine, you ain't trying to make no bad grade because you ain't trying to bring that home because he was crazy.
Right.
So you know what I mean? So it feels because of that's my why. I don't want to bring that grade home. If I see something lagging, I just take over and get it done. Right. And although that person is going to benefit from you taking over, right? It feels
Mhm.
safer to take over to ensure that I get the grade that I need to get in order to come out on a successful end and make it home with a grade that I know that's going to be acceptable and pleasing to my mama. And that's going to actually give me benefit over an ass whooping. Needless to say, so needless to say, I think I'm using that analogy to say that every control, every prompt to control has a why. And I think that why is really what needs to be dealt with, not necessarily the action of control. We got to understand what is the why and what is like really ultimately the primary thing that is fueling or prompting the element of control. And I think even in relationships, if we were more transparent with that, right? That why this is so, babe, when you do this prompts me to want to have to take over because you're not showing up this way. And it can
Right.
be as simple as, baby, you let these dishes sit in here 3 days. So I felt like I had to go wash them, right? And that made me feel some type of way. That's a real light. It might seem like a light thing, but let that happen over and over again. Like, you go, there's gonna
I
be an
get
issue,
mine.
right?
Now we arguing about dishes.
We're
Right.
gonna be arguing about dishes,
Oh,
right?
some city.
But it's
Right.
not the
It's
dishes that
not
we're
silly.
arguing
It's
about.
not
It's
silly.
the fact that you said
No,
that whoever the you is, that you was
Yeah.
gonna do something and you
but you
didn't.
left it
Mm-hmm.
do it. So, see, Webby, now you making this point. I almost want to high five you, right?
We high fiving right here.
You said something in that. You said you was gonna do something, but you didn't do it. And how many times in our lives have somebody said they were gonna do something and didn't do it? So you felt the need to have to take it over,
Yeah, because we
right?
were we
And
were
so,
depending on you.
Right.
hey,
And
I was out, and there was and to DJ Tricky's point earlier, there was a letdown experience when you didn't come through and follow through the way that you said you would.
Mm.
So it's not a it's not the control necessarily. It's just the fact I don't want to experience that letdown from
Right.
you experience before.
But
And
if
then on
you do, go
it,
ahead, Jules. I'm sorry.
her side of it, she don't want to let down this man.
Mm.
Right,
yeah,
right,
she
right.
said that. She
And
said
I think that's so valuable. That's right.
Here she has in that fact that she knows who she is. And she knows that she has issues with this control thing. And maybe just not right now. I'm gonna mess this up.
but if she adapts the growth mindset, I'm plugging right here. Come on, future therapist. If she
Oh
adapts
my
the growth,
God.
no, I'm
Do,
dead
do it, girl.
serious.
Do it, girl.
If she adapts a growth mindset, then she can grow to wean some of that back and not be so hyper independent because her independence is never going to lose her. That's who she is. But do you have to be hyper independent? Absolutely not. You don't have to be
Well,
because it's some men out there that appreciates independent women. They
that
okay
part,
that you get up
that's
and go to work
exactly
every day, and that if he break his leg, you gonna make sure this mortgage gets paid every month because he cannot go and do it.
Preach.
listen,
So
listen. Hey, listen. Bring that account money home. We ain't tripping on that. Here's the
I ain't
deal.
tripping.
At the end of the
Yeah.
day, it ain't your accounting. It ain't that independence is something that we actually appreciate. But I think
Mm.
more than independence, we appreciate ownership, right? and you're taking ownership, ensuring that like at least in a space that allows us both to work towards a shared goal, right?
Yes.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that structure of like creating structure in your relationship and creating shared goals, we do it at work, we do it in every other facet of our lives, but we don't do it in relationship. You know what I
Crazy.
mean?
We don't
Like,
have
and
to work.
do we?
Yeah.
We don't have to work what?
I was gonna say a lot. I think that as a society, we feel like we don't have to work on our relationships. That's just gonna grow together, you know. But relationships take work.
Can I say something? I agree with you. Like we'll do all this group activities and do all this stuff at work because we see the return. What's the return? Our paycheck.
Right?
Some of us don't
Well,
see the return in the relationship.
well, Webby, here's the thing: you do vision boards with your homegirls. So
Mhm.
if you can have vision with your homegirls, why you can't have a vision with your man? And the reality is, it's just it's like, yo, and maybe honestly, to be fair, maybe the woman is looking for the man to set the vision, you know, for the
Or
house, right?
You
So
could
as men, we're challenged. But here's the deal: we have to be clear and transparent and communicate that, right? Because
yeah.
here's the deal: is that if you're not communicating that to that man, right? Like meaning I'm taking a posture to follow you and I'm expecting you to set the vision for our family. And together we create some shared goals to where we work together on these, right? If we're trying to reach financial freedom, right? Then that's something that we both care about. That means we're not going to be eating out every night. That means that we're not going to, like, you know what I mean? That means that it's something that we both embrace. You have value, you add value in your own way because you are gifted, beautiful. You're able to do that, right? I'm gifted, and we can make that happen together versus this is and I don't know, I just kind of been on this spiel lately, but I struggle when I hear married people say, nah, this my money and this your money.
I don't understand that either.
That's
The
not
reality,
profitable for
no,
them.
that's out of order. I don't honestly think God can bless a union
Yeah.
that is operating as a partner,
That's
that's operating in that way. Like it's operating. It's like I don't even know.
it don't
Whatever
it,
comes in the house is our money, and I don't care if you make like 10,000 and I make 120,000. Whatever
Mhm.
come in this house, our money. We all gonna benefit off of it. Which, if that's not the mindset, right, even prior to marriage, because I'm so concerned about what you make, and if you don't make a certain right, then I can't mess with you, right? Or if you don't, yeah, it's just really confronting some of these because here's the thing: you're going to be challenged because a person that you're dating can make 200K a year.
Mhm.
But then you marry them and they lose that opportunity and they immediately go from 200K to nothing.
Oh my God.
What is it still going to be a relationship you still found value in when this man went from making 200K to nothing?
So
And
Probably
can
it ain't nothing that's
value.
go for it.
I speak on that? Because I think that it's not just one-sided. It's not one, it's a very two-sided situation. Because my bad. Because like, let me give you an example. In my marriage, when I first got married, my husband was making probably like 20K more than I was at the time. And the money didn't matter, not a big deal. But in that transition, I mean, maybe 3 years in, this man lost his job, didn't have a job for 9 months. And didn't matter, wasn't no big deal. Bills still got paid, things still happened. God still blessed us, right? No big deal. We moved to another city so that he could work and do other things. In another period of our time, I didn't have no job. I was staying at home taking care of the kids. And he lost his job again, or he lost his job We have no income. It was just crazy. We both not working, but not a big deal. We had a financial plan. We worked through it. Things are good. When the tables turn and I make more money than he do out the gate, like he's working, now he's working, we're back stable, the kids, I want to go back to work. And I'm like, okay, I want to go to work, do my own little thing, start working. I started advancing really fast at work and start making way more money than he making. Then it became a competition. And I felt like, wait, what? We're not competing. You know, like I'm making like 20 more than you now. And now it's like, it's annoying because I feel like it's petty. And it's like it broke down the foundation in the house. You know what I mean? Like now you want to go get another job so you can make more money than me, but it takes away from the resources of managing the house and managing the kids. Now we lopsided severely because you're competing. And it was really frustrating. And it's like, okay, well, let me step down and let me not do so much because like it's getting crazy. Like I don't got time. We don't have time for nothing. We don't have time for each other. We don't have time for nothing. And it's just, it was one of those things like, well, why? What's the point? Why can't you be comfortable with where we were, what we're doing financially if I make more money than you, if it's still balancing out the same way? It's okay if you don't have a job. It's okay if you make more money than me or you don't have a job. It's cool. But when you are I don't know. I don't get it. I just felt
I get you because I dealt with that in my first marriage where my ex-husband was getting jealous of me. And it wasn't about the money, it was the education.
Come on.
It was the education that I was receiving.
100%.
So and that's a whole other conversation that folks ain't ready to talk about is when your spouse gets jealous of you.
Come on. And I was just about to say that, Jules. I was going to say jealousy won. Jealousy won. There's a thing that like I don't think people talk, because that's what I'm saying. We don't deal with things, we don't deal with relationship in a sensual way through the context and lens of marriage or the ideal of marriage more than we do deal with it through the context of dating. Everybody has dating advice, but there's not a lot of people that can speak to a marital relationship and longevity to the point where you're starting to speak about you can be around a person so long and to the point where you experience jealousy. Like, why did it happen for them and not me?
Oh,
and when that and when that shows up, it probably doesn't make sense. Like I've literally heard a wife say this. She said, I prayed God, like she said, I struggle because I prayed and asked God for an increase financially in my situation. But he gave it to my husband. My husband is the come on. That's the perspective. Right. If he gave it to him, he gave it to you. And
yeah. I'm gonna say he got it to your husband, he gave it to you.
That's what the issue.
But she's saying, right, but it didn't happen. She didn't, it was still in her mind that it didn't happen for her. And if you don't have that, if you don't have wisdom around you, right, that would ultimately plague. And so what you was talking about, it's one thing to discern, well, like at least we said the intuition. I'm calling it discernment, right? It's one thing to be able to like get a sense of something, but really truly discern what's going on in your marriage, or be able to discern what's going on in your relationship, or being able to discern what's going on with this real specific to the person that is in your life, you are doing life with, right? And dealing with that in transparency. Juice, if he had a came to you like straight up, and I'm curious to ask you this question. If bro had a came to you and been like, babe, I'm happy for you. You making that extra 20, but I'm a little jealous. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like I'm a little jealous because it's like, you know, like, dang, I wish, huh?
That would have been so much better.
Right, because it gives you the opportunity to put it into perspective. versus us just completely respond just excuse me, compared to us just internalizing it and responding. A lot of times we're internalizing and responding. We're in between of what in between that internalizing. Should have before I responded, I should have had a conversation. I should have came to you and said,
Communication.
I should have came to you and said, you know, baby, if I feel safe and vulnerable with you, whether I feel safe or vulnerable or not, let me take the step to say, you know what? Because there are some things that you got to talk about that sometimes you're really fearful to talk about because you don't know how this person's gonna take it. Because this is a weird feeling. But listen, like,
But at the end of the day, go ahead, D. I'm sorry. Go D.
no, talk. I'm sorry.
No,
No,
I didn't
all I
mean
was gonna, all I was gonna finish saying was if he had given Jules, and I don't know, bro. So I'm just, and this I'm saying this respectfully, but
Yeah.
if he had gave Jules, right, the opportunity, like, to hear what he was experiencing, right, like to say, damn, baby, I'm a little jealous because I ain't gonna lie to you. I know you got the 20, but that's something I genuinely be wanting for myself. I just don't know how to get it, you know. But I saw you get it, and now I ain't gonna lie, I experienced a little jealousy. Like, you know what I mean? If he was
Yeah.
able to lay that out to you and express that to you in a way, like just to be able to express it to you, it gives you, the ball is now in your court as his wife to put that back into perspective. You know what I'm saying?
And now, oh, I'm
Mhm.
sorry.
I say you, and that would have also dissolved some of the miscellaneous stuff that rolled out from it. And it would have also given me opportunity to say, to give him some perspective. Look, you know, that extra 20, we using this in the house. So it's my money, your money kind of thing, that recentering and refocusing and saying, whoa, that's your 20%. You know what I mean? That's your
Matter of
20.
fact, we're gonna get something to eat with this extra 20. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we can spend more than $30 on lunch today.
I hate you so much right now.
But you know what else married folks get jealous about, the people ain't talking about? And this is when it's their own, their biological kids.
You get jealous of your kids?
Yep, they get jealous of the
man.
relationship with the other parent. You see it with heterosexual relationships, like if man and wife have a daughter clings to the dad, gets jealous, or if it's a son, then the daddy gets jealous of the relationship between mom and dad. I know folks now, I don't know who I was talking to, they have a son, and mama had bought the son something, and the daddy was like, oh, so you bought them something, didn't buy me nothing? Oh, you can give them a hug, can't give me a hug? They say
So
it jokingly, but they mean that.
So ask your question. Like, if you, I'm sorry, DJ Tricky.
You go ahead. Ask the question, bro.
So with that specifically, right? If you, who's in your like, say you got a son and you got a guy, just using that as an example, or a husband to say the least, or a guy that you can potentially see as your husband. Your son, y'all son, right? Like, you bring a plate of food to him first. Do you think that man is going to receive that well?
No.
Why?
Well, now my current man, yes, because he's like, no, feed the kid first. But some men, they have a problem with that if they go feed their kids first instead of them first, instead of the husband first.
Okay, now. So if I come home, okay, let's flip it. We got a daughter. And I come home, and the first person I go embrace is my daughter, and not you. How would you feel about that?
Jules, you're going to answer that question.
So first of all, I don't care, because that's how I do my kids. Like when my kids were small, I used to send my kids to the door to welcome their daddy.
That's what's up.
Right.
So that, you know, that, because you know they come screaming with all this excitement and all of that. So when they was young, I taught them to do that. because it gave me time to kind of finish up whatever I was doing. And it also gave him time to kind of come in, and then I would greet him, or whatever. So it don't bother me none at all.
Yeah.
I think children for me should always, when they're in your home, should always feel loved and adored, because when they get out in that world, you want them to always think to come back home, if it gets to know that the home is love.
Right.
So
I don't have-
some of what you said earlier. Oh, I'm sorry, Jules. Go ahead.
I was just saying I don't have that issue with, you welcome her first or me first.
I'm gonna get you last anyway.
I mean, that's because I know what home is. Like, this is just preliminary. These are all remakes. I need the original. So I'm gonna get the original last, and normally last is always first. Ain't that what the books say? Yeah, I think that's what the books say. A couple things y'all said. Yeah, a couple things y'all said when y'all said about the whole dishes thing. So people allow room for some grace and mercy, because see, that same issue is gone when you start holding people's feet to the fire by certain things. Don't get in your feelings when your feet get held to the fire about other things that you do. So learn how to give people this grace and mercy. Yeah, you mad about the dishes. Yeah, bring up the conversation, right? But don't let the conversation ruin the night. Like, even if it's not, sometimes I don't even want to have a conversation today. It's just like, I'll have it later. Or like my boy Mike, Dino. I used to love when he always said every time him and his wife have a conversation, a heated conversation, he's to always take it after me. I was like, oh, I didn't know that worked, but that was his thing. But we gotta allow room. We gotta allow room for grace and mercy about certain things. Certain things and then, yeah, like you said, the dishes conversation can become a whole petty, drawn out argument for about a week, and you ain't talking to her, she ain't talking to you. Now you drive by fucking, fuck you. It's just like, bro, it's like we just getting too. That's when you start falling into what I call your soul proprietor. You all in your emotions, out in your feelings. We can't work in our emotions all the time. Can't be in there. And then when you said something earlier about you said something about the vision. You know what? I've came to a place where, sometimes the woman has the vision because the dude knows how to execute. And it can be vice versa. Sometimes the man can have the vision, but your wife knows everything how to execute. So if you can bring the vision to her and she can put it in perspective, then again, you're working as a partnership. As he said, a unity coming through. And I'm just like, y'all, that whole my money, your money, look, don't start that. Because that can go to a whole nother realm. Let's just leave it where it is. This our stuff. And I want to say, Jules, just like the lady said, or like you said, that you personally, and this is no respecting nothing, no attacking you, nothing. I'm just using your words. When you said, well, you were taught to do this. Well, maybe somewhere down the line he was taught. I don't know, and I'm not trying to defend him, but he was taught that he had to take care of you. And taking care of some people, or taking care of your woman, even nowadays, it's normally about financially. We never hear about trying to take care of emotions. When women say take care of me in 2024, when you hear certain women say take care of me, they normally harp on the financial part. You don't care if the man takes care of you emotionally. You don't care if he uses, go to church and he's governed by God, or he tried to use some of his wisdom. You just want to make sure your car got gas in it, you got groceries, you got money, your credit cards work. We can fly to wherever we need to fly to, when we need to fly to. I can do this, I can do that, I can do this. It's just like, but that's not the only way that you need to be taken care of. Now, I'm going to say maybe that's what he was thinking, but I still agree, hands down. Like, bro, I don't feel no type of jealousy. I'm applaud you. Because see, who's the brother who's ready to be at home in his bonnet with his robe, ready to walk you outside to work? Me. But look, let me go ahead and cook this breakfast.
For the people.
Look, it don't matter. It's gonna be black and gold. Yeah, always. But that's what I'm saying. It's just and like you said, the mindset. And then the last thing I'm gonna say, Jules, to what you said about the using that scenario, in my mind, when it was somewhere in between that conversation, he forgot the value of you. And then somewhere in the conversation, we forget the value of who we with. Because all he seen was 20K. Well, bro, you didn't see the value of when you lost your job, she held you down. She could have left. I have a friend who went bad on his wife on Facebook because he's trying to lose weight and she was off. And she went and got him something to eat. Talking about, she done brought me this burger. She know I'm trying to lose weight. I actually called him and talked real bad to him. I was like, take that down. Like, for real, bro. Because it's a dude at work. When he get out, he don't even know his wife gonna be. He don't even know how much money he got in his account. He don't even know if he gonna get a meal. He don't even know if his kids gonna be home when he get there. I said, she was off today, and everything that she had to do, she took a moment in time and had a thought. Forget the food. The fact that she had a thought to feed you, bro. She had a thought to go somewhere and bring you something to eat. Ladies, if your dude have these thoughts to send you money for lunch, $30 is not your time to complain about. It's just like, baby, I had this thought, I want to do something for you. Instead of saying thank you, we worry about everything else but that. And yeah, it's not a competition. It's not now. I will say it comes to a competition sometimes when you go into something and you hear people say, "Well, nobody ever done this for me. Nobody ever did this for me. Nobody was showed up for me. Nobody did that." So you find yourself continue trying to do that. But it's just like, okay, I'm doing all that, but you still, it's like you're still not being appreciated. So after a while, you quit doing it. Then they want to know why you quit doing it. Well, I mean, when I was doing it, it was like you didn't care. But now that I ain't doing it, it's like, okay, now you care. But I think he just lost. For somewhere in there, sometimes we lose the total value of the person that we have. And then that's when you start building out these narratives and everything else. And that's when the other person feels like they're not appreciated or start feeling being taken for granted. And I don't think all the narratives that we build in our head, we never build a narrative of, man, I'm really hurting this person. Or, man, I'm really doing this person. It's like there's so much lack of self-reflection.
Because
So many ways.
self-absorbed.
And so it
People become self-absorbed. So like,
or,
I'm not
or
speaking
selfless.
negatively about your ex-husband, but that was a very self-absorbed behavior that he was exhibiting. Because I can't say he was self-absorbed because I don't know him. The actions were self-absorbed because all he cared about was himself and that you were making the more money and not him.
Yeah. I think he was focused
behavior.
on the narrative than what was actually going on.
Instead of being like, we making an extra 20K and we can spend more than $30 on this lunch today, tomorrow, and every other day.
We up.
That Papados eating steak and shrimp. I mean, I'm just saying.
So real quick, I know we talked about the problem. And Jules, let me say, like, man, I appreciate your transparency right now. Like, really, for real. I don't know how hard it was for you to say, but I commend you for that. But so I know we talk about the issue, the control, the this. Oh, I'm scared. I'm scared. My thing is for the person who's struggling with this now, how do they work to get through it? And not just for the person. Let's say if the person's in a situation, because I do want to have a conversation or a show, like Jules said, about support. What does support really look like? What does support really look like? Let that rest on your brain. But in the midst of all that, what is the resolve? How does the person that's the fearful one, that's the control freak, that's whatever, how do they resolve their issue in order to go from a sole proprietor, in order to start actually making steps to have a partnership or a relational partnership or a marriage that can be a stronger bond? And then how the other person who is going to go through it with them, what do they do? Like, in order to be supported, presence, to keep them out of their, what I want to say, their emotions or feelings or feeling or in their head, and they start feeling like, oh, she don't want me. This ain't what she want. This and that. How do we get to that point? How do they work through that?
Well, I'm gonna answer the first one. First, what's the first step in the 12 step program?
Acknowledgement.
Acceptance, acknowledgement, or acceptance, either one, same thing. First, have to acknowledge and accept, hey, I like control. Then we have to get to the root of why we're there. And go from there in whatever steps that leads you. And then we can get to a point where we communicate to our partners, hey, this is why I feel this way. This is why I'm responding this way. So you say you're going to do the dishes, and I'm bringing it back because it's a very real thing. If you said you was going to do the dishes at 5 o'clock and it's 6:45 and you have still not done the dishes, that further feeds into the control that I got going on that I'm trying to let go of. So you get what I'm saying? I hope I'm trying to say.
I agree. I know what you're trying to say. I think you got to take it a step further though, because sometimes even in that acknowledgement that, hey, you didn't do the dishes, so you didn't meet my requirement or whatever it is, or you didn't meet the deadline that you agreed to, but you take it a little bit step further, like we talked about a little bit earlier, is that you're acknowledging, hey, the reason why it upsets me so much because it makes me feel like I'm being neglected or we're not a team or whatever that feeling is that you're getting, that you know that I'm feeling let down, or I'm feeling like I'm burdened with an extra task that I didn't agree to, or whatever that is taking that step further to acknowledge how it's impacting you, not necessarily what they did not do or what it is about them, but more so about how it impacted me. I think for me personally, the way that I deal with it definitely is acknowledge the fact that I was hyper independent. The second thing was I just try to be humble and try to, make it a me problem, which I think when you deal with a narcissist, you wind up doing it anyways. You make it a
we can have a whole nother show on narcissism.
No, but you make it a me problem. You say, okay, well, I could have did that better, or I could have communicated better, or I could have, you try to be a little bit less selfish in your own ways. And, you reflect back on yourself first before you attack a person about what they didn't do or whatever. Because sometimes it's just your perspective and how you felt when they did it, and it ain't got nothing to do with them, and they didn't do nothing wrong, and it was perfectly right the way they did it. It was just how I received it because, I got a pet peeve against it, or I didn't like it, or whatever that is. So just being humble enough to say, hey, that hurt my feelings, or hey, that made me feel really insecure, or when you asked me to wear this, I didn't feel this way, whatever it is. But just,
I'm sorry, Jules. I'm sorry.
I just definitely acknowledging it, being honest and transparent. And I think also communicating with love. Like before you say something, how you say it is important too. Like, did I say it with, because you still my partner and I still want to ride with you and I still want to do all the great things with you. But if I'm talking to you crazy, if you talk to me crazy, we done.
Okay.
But that's all I got.
D? Oh, D got nephew.
So I think the only thing I would add here, in the midst of being choked right now, is invite them into the problem, right? You've already identified the person as a good person. Invite them into the problem. And I think there's a way to invite a person into a like problem solving with you, right? About something that you may be dealing with that could be very healthy for your relationship. And as you overcome these things together, I think it only strengthens the relationship and create a safe place for problem solving together. Because a lot of times, like when we're dealing with certain things or dealing with issues that may be rising up in us, sometimes we don't feel quite safe, right, to share that with the person because of either a prior experience, whether it has to do with that person or somebody else, or like, and I was looking up this concept of transition trauma, or and I think I see it was closely related to PTSD, but like relational PTSD that is like very centric to why we don't actually pursue inviting people into our thoughts or inviting people into our experiences. So that would be the thing that I would say that I would recommend to say, hey, look, invite the person actually if you trust the person enough to break them off some, or if you trust the person enough to actually do life with them, then really truly invite them into see just invite them into the problem solving um opportunity with you. And if it don't go well, like then like let's try to find ways that get it to a point where it can go well. But yeah, I think, like I said, I think Jules and Jules, I kind of second Greg here. Like, thank you for your transparency, because I do believe, like, I do wonder if you had the opportunity, right, like to problem solve that, right, what the outcome would be. You know what I'm saying?
A lot of us have lost situations and we quit them. Well, I was told we quit too early. But I think some of us walk away too soon, and that's because you're acting in your emotion. You're acting in an irrational state. You know, I always say when you're
Well,
upset, you go through stages. You go through stages.
yeah.
Go ahead. What you gonna say?
Oh,
Go ahead.
it kind of brought
I
me
didn't want you to lose it.
sorry, process out loud. I'm so sorry, but it
There
was
you
just
go.
one of those things where it gives me the opportunity to love you through it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I can love you. I can love you too, and I can love you through. You know what I
And
mean?
I'm gonna put something on top of it, bro. You didn't take my choice away. You allowed me to make a choice. That if we could understand that word and what they understood, and I'm guilty, didn't know what that meant a long time ago, but I do know now. That is the reason why they say communication is a big part of in a relationship, I believe, because you don't take the other person's choice away. When you take my choice away, you make the decision for me. And you don't know what I was going to do. Well, because you made this decision, now here I am, either in my irrational state of mind, and I just run with it. So now I'm acting out instead of just being instead of actually doing what the gentleman should have did, had the conversation. So now I'm just acting out. I'm reacting. I'm not being responsive. Oh, you said this. Da, da, da. Okay, well, cool. Da, da, da. But this ain't even what you want, bro. You doing all this talking, but this really ain't what you want. But this is all because you took my choice away. You didn't know if I could help you or not, but you never talked to me. So how would you know? All right, it's that time. Let's get that 2 minute drill working here. Hey man, I thought this was pretty good. I missed y'all. I can really say that. I missed y'all. I hate that I was not available. It was me. School has me ripping and running, but I don't like to deal with excuses. But I truly missed y'all. I missed this. So yeah, sole proprietor. You trying to be in a relational partnership. Hey man, did you think about it? Take it home. Let you tell you what you think about it. But let me get the crew last 2 minutes. The graduates. Lil Wavy. Holla.
Um, definitely have to learn to be more communicative in your needs and understanding where the root coming from, for that lady that we're speaking about, or anybody that can relate. So we definitely need to get to the I pointed at myself. And so that, because it can be very detrimental to your relationship if that's what you really want. And I'm not going to sit here and say that that lady doesn't want to be in a relationship, because she does. She struggles with how she's going to get there. So, and I'm not going to say that she's not allowed to have someone love her. Everybody deserves to be loved. So I hope she finds the love that she so deserves. I hope she can get to a place where she can learn to relinquish that control and get to the root of the people or things that have failed her.
Very good, man. Thank you. I said, very good. Thank you so much. Nothing but our own piece of jewelry. Y'all see our jewelry tonight? Well, our jewelry look good. I always look good. Well, we don't even put this in glass. We allow it to walk around. And when I tell you we value our piece of jewelry, we'll value our piece of jewelry because it is definitely God sent. Jules, tell us your last 2 minutes, please.
My last 2 is just be transparent and love, honestly, with humility. This person is a person you want to be with, and it's good to be straightforward and honest with them, even though you feel weak or, not so strong in a situation.
Yes, man, I definitely agree. I will say mine, because of course we always end with my big brother. Hey man, there's a whole lot of things you can do by yourself. But I promise you, in this world, you can be in abundance of more if you have 2. I understand it has to be the right 2, but if you have 2 and we can work together on the same page, more is out there. You just have to make a choice to go get it. Make the choice to go get it. Big D.
Wow, this conversation was really good. And yeah, go on now. I'm gonna make you some noodles. I think this conversation was really good. I will say this: your partner or whoever you're in relationship with can be your greatest asset if you're willing to allow them to be. Yeah, yeah, they could be your greatest asset if you allow them to be. And communication can be the thing if we by communicating proactively, right? It can lead it possibly can save the hardships of things that or behaviors that ultimately can end terribly, to say the least, or end in a rough situation. So be proactive and not so reactive in your relationships, marriages, whatever you are in, but also allow your spouse or your partner to be your greatest asset. And that means you got to be humble. You got to be able to take like some of those things, but you also got to open your mouth and not be and be slow to reacting, especially if you hadn't communicated. All right. So that's my 2 cents. I'm still processing a lot of this, to be honest with you. So this is kind of difficult
That
for
is
me.
good. Yes, sir.
This
Yes, sir. So, D, if you can, in your own supernatural way, brother, pray us out, if you don't mind. Wherever you are, if you're next to your partner, do me a favor. Grab him and hold his hand. Just hold his hand. Or hold her hand. It don't matter. This time you holding their hand just for a reason. Just because you want to. D, it's on you.
Yeah. All right. Our Father, we thank you and come to you with a spirit of thanksgiving. Thanking you for Jesus and thanking you for the sacrifice that was paid on a cross for our sins. Thanking you for gracing us, knowing that we are not perfect and yet sinners, and still loving us enough to give us, Father, your Son. We ask God that in our imperfections, that we be forgiven. Father, we repent for those things that we fell short on. Even to this very moment, those things that have crept in, that has been consistent, that we've been wanting to let go, but just for some reason just can't. Please forgive us, Father. Allow our hearts to remain genuine and not hard. Let us not be, or at least let our hearts not grow hard because of the things we've experienced. And God, please just help our hearts remain soft and genuine and loving, because you've loved us first, and we have the ability to love because of that.
Yes.
And Father, we ask that as you've loved us through things that nobody knows about, but only you, we pray, God, that you give us wisdom and continue to guide us and teach us on how to love others the same way. You created us in your image, so that means that we have the capability of doing it. So we thank you, and we just want to live into who you created us to be. It's in your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Appreciate you, brother. Look, man, think we believe in God because he believes in us. I live by two mantras. Faith and fear cannot dwell in the same place. And while you're on this side till you get to the other side, remember to love, live, laugh. Hey, it's good to be back. It's good to see my family. Hey, I just want to let y'all know publicly, just like I do privately, I love each and one of y'all. Any time, any moment, you need a brother. Look, nothing but a phone call away. You don't have to go through anything by yourself. We a family. We're going to be a family until the wheels fall off. And you too that are listeners, you are part of the family as well. So please feel free to email us at the 418convo@gmail.com with anything you want to talk about, any topic. We'll definitely try to put our heads together and give you something to take home to have a conversation with, so you can build a better you, build a better relationship, and really understand, well, not understand, but get your opportunity to be loved, because you sure deserve it. Until next time, right here on the 418, man, we'll catch you 7:30 next Tuesday with the whole family. You take care. Have a good night.